I'm Mark Roberts. I'm a lecturer in the medical school. I lecture biochemistry to the medical students, and I'm also involved in the move of the medical's undergraduate medicine from the previous VLE Blackboard onto the new VLE QM+. And I guess one of the things I want to talk to you about is probably some of the major challenges related in that, in the sense that we started the move with all of this material. We had these large sort of handbooks, these large sort of reams of paper. We had some material on Blackboard as well, like say the lecture, slides and handouts that were all sort of provided to the students in different formats and sort of spread out all over Blackboard. And what we wanted to try and do is how we can organise that material, how we can bring that together and sort of make it coherent for the students. So one of the tools that we've used for that within Moodle is the Moodle book tool. And what we've done is created an individual book page for an individual lecture. And on that contains all the information about the lecture, some of it that was previously in the handbook, the lecture objectives, the lecturer. It contains the handouts and the slides for the lecture, but also actually provides space to provide more enrichment material, more extension material for that lecture. In the simplest form, this is just providing a place where we can link to other parts of the course. Another fantastic reason why we started using Moodle Books is that each page has its own URL. And so we can actually start creating links between lectures and teaching sessions on different parts of the course and putting these links on these individual lecture pages. But also providing extra reading, linking out to other parts of the internet, providing videos that supplement the teaching in the lecture or perhaps are included in the lecture PowerPoint, but by embedding them in QM+, we're guaranteeing that they will work on the student's computer. And so sort of organising the material in that way and using the book provides a way to sort of bring together all the resources associated with that session of teaching so that the student knows exactly where to go, and it sort of gets all that information coordinated in one session and in one way. So one of the ideas for extra resources of adding to a lecture that we've been using is something that comes from my previous teaching, is using a word cloud. So this is an image, a collection of words, which the size of the word relates to the prevalence in a document. So if I, for example, use the word bone 20 times and the word joint 5 times, bone would appear big, joint would appear small. And so it's a way of actually taking a piece of text and seeing at a glance from an image what's the important point, what's the word that's mentioned the most, what's the important point from this. And the way I've been doing this is using an online tool called Wordle, and this produces these word clouds where you just put in a text file and it pops out this image that you can then embed into QM+. And by taking the outline of a PowerPoint lecture, using the outline view in PowerPoint, you can get a list of all the words that you mention on your PowerPoint slides. I then feed that into Wordle. This generates this image of this cloud of sea of words of different sizes based on the number of times I mention them on my lecture slides. This then gives the student an instant feedback on what is the important points that I'm mentioning again and again. What are the important concepts, the important words that are coming up in this lecture series? And how, and help them direct their learning and sort of see what perhaps are the important words and ideas that they want to understand. It's a new way of a different way of visualising things. You can also actually use word clouds as a way of assessment, of looking at work or interacting with written work in a different way. For example, again, any student putting their own essay through any text gets them to see what words do they use very often, and is that a positive thing or a negative thing. So you can actually you can make the students use word clouds and actually from them and sort of gain a more reflective practice in terms of their marking and assessment.